Introducing DFS Explorer, a free daily fantasy sports app by Advanced Sports Logic. In this video, we show how we use DFS Explorer combined with team stacking for MLB, ASL snipe the shotgun strategy, and ASL's daily play articles to win 3 out of 4 DFS contests and increase our bankroll 70% on our first try. So let's get started.
Today we will enter 4 contests. The first contest is an NBA main slate. We start by checking out the NBA Daily Fantasy Plays article on ASL's website. We show this article on the left and the DFS Explorer app on the right. This article provides 3 players for the FanDuel main slate that have high value. Value is a measure of the projected fantasy points divided by the player salary. So these are the players ASL believes gives the most bang for the buck. These players are D'Angelo Russell, Nikola Jokic, and Paolo Banchero. We start building our lineup by locking these players into the lineup on DFS Explorer. These 3 players are projected to score 146 fantasy points for a total salary of $27,200. We must fill 6 more positions under the salary cap of $60,000, so this leaves us roughly $5,500 per remaining player. So now we pick top players for each position in this salary range and complete the lineup. First, I select Nikola Jokic. I select him because he has a top projection of 21.89 fantasy points for a salary of only $4,900, which is well below our limit of about $5,500 per player. Likewise, I select Caleb Martin next. As we lock players, the available players table refreshes to show us which players can still be included in the lineup based on the remaining unlocked positions and in use salary. Next, I select Rui Hachimura. Then Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. You can see that the available players list is getting smaller as we get close to completing the lineup. Finally, I select Josh Giddey and then Derek White. Since I've been selecting players a little below our $5,500 per player limit, I have a little extra cap space and can splurge on White, whose salary is $6,900. Here is our completed lineup, with an estimated total fantasy point projection of 297.1 for a total salary of $59,900. Now I just enter my lineup into the FanDuel site. I have selected the Saturday main slate because this slate allows up to 150 entries per contestant. Many contestants will enter 150 lineups. They are using a shotgun approach to have many chances for one lineup to hit very near the top of the contest and result in a large payout. Our approach is to enter our single best lineup. We call this our snipe the shotgun strategy. Our chance of coming in first and getting a big payout is very small, but our chance of winning more than the entry fee is higher because the contest will be filled with a lot of diverse lineups that will mostly do poorly. Now I will create an NHL lineup the same as the NBA lineup. I start by entering the 3 value players suggested in ASL's NHL Daily Fantasy Plays article. After entering these 3 players, I have $39,400 cap space left to spread across the 6 remaining starting slots, or about $6,500 per slot. My goalie is Frederik Andersen of the Carolina Hurricanes, which are playing the New York Islanders. I avoid selecting New York Islanders players because they have a negative scoring correlation with my goalie. I enter my lineup into the 2 p.m. main slate, which allows up to 143 lineups per contestant. I am again using the snipe the shotgun strategy. Next, I'm going to enter the early on MLB slate. I have selected the slate because it allows up to 150 lineup entries so that I can use the snipe the shotgun strategy. In addition to the snipe the shotgun strategy, team stacking is very important for MLB. I want 4 players of one team and 3 or 4 players of another team. This is because in baseball, the performance of players rise and fall together. If I am going to score high enough to have a positive return, my best chance is to pick 2 teams to stack. The first team I will select is the LA Dodgers. This is because Shohei Ohtani and Mookie Betts lead their batting order and have the 2 highest projections among batters. To select my second team, I look at the pitchers. Ben Brown is projected to be the weakest pitcher of the slate. He is pitching against the Boston Red Sox, so I will stack the Red Sox as my second team. Now I will start selecting players to fill the lineups. I will start by selecting my pitcher. I will go with Edward Cabrera because he has the second highest fantasy point projection at a relatively low cost among the top pitchers. Now I select my Dodgers and Red Sox batters. I try to keep the batters in consecutive order from the batting order. The numbers under status are where they fall in the batting order, and the C in parenthesis means their batting order is confirmed. I am spending more on the Dodgers because they seem to be the dominant team. As a result, I can't quite keep the Boston batters all together in the batting order, but feel I have done a decent job. Finally, I must fill the last slot with a player from another team. I just select from among the remaining available players that has the highest fantasy point projection. And now I just enter my final lineup into the FanDuel site. Finally, I will enter one more lineup in the MLB main slate. I pick Chris Paddack as my pitcher because of his high fantasy point projection and low salary. I also decide to stack Tampa Bay and Arizona as my two teams. I picked Tampa Bay because Jonathan Cannon of the White Sox is pitching to the Rays, and he has the lowest projection of all the pitchers in the slate. I picked Arizona because of a mental mistake. The second lowest pitcher in the contest is Slade Cecconi of Arizona pitching to Seattle. I meant to use Seattle as my second stack, but crossed the teams mentally and stacked the Diamondbacks instead. Mental mistakes are part of the game, but you get the idea of how I am trying to fill my lineup per an overall strategy. And here is my final lineup. I enter my lineup into FanDuel. The way the lineup ended up, I still had some significant cap space, so I decide to sub out Chris Paddack and replace him with our top projected pitcher, Dylan Cease. I also reconsider Blaze Alexander, since he was only projected to score 6.02 fantasy points in the optimizer, and decide I will try to find someone better. I go back to the optimizer, remove Blaze Alexander, and see who's available. I find Anthony Volpe, who is projected to earn 10.14 fantasy points. I make the changes on the FanDuel site, and now I am ready for the games to begin. Finally, here are the results. We followed some simple strategies and won in 3 out of 4 contests, winning 70% more than our entry fees. I wonder if I hadn't made a mistake and had stacked Seattle instead of Arizona if I might have won that contest also. Was it luck or skill? We don't have a large enough sample size to know, but we did it with free content and free app from Advanced Sports Logic's website. In the NBA contest, we ranked in the top 10th. All 3 ASL's value player suggestions did well: D'Angelo Russell, Paolo Banchero, and Nikola Jokic. In the NHL contest, we ranked in the top 4th, and it was just enough to double our entry fee. In the first MLB contest, we stacked the Dodgers and Red Sox. The winning lineup stacked the Red Sox and Orioles. We didn't make a very good pitcher selection, but we still ranked 281st out of 4,790, and it was enough to more than double the entry fee. In the second MLB contest, we stacked the Rays and the Diamondbacks, and the winner stacked the Twins and Yankees. 4 of our players scored 0 fantasy points, but we still managed to rank about the middle of the pack. We don't know yet if these results are luck or skill, but if we could consistently increase 70% over the entry fee, we would grow our bankroll very quickly. I hope this video was interesting. If you play DFS, remember to have fun and play responsibly.